quickly from your ailment, and may you be with us again soon. Now, this convention has been conducted since 1940, although it was a much smaller meeting at that time. And we've had a board meeting of one kind or another from the beginning. One of the things I always want us to do is to remember those who came before we did and participated. Mrs. Jernigan's sister, Cheryl Irwin, who was from Colorado, has been at this convention during the last year. She died. There have been some others. And I'd like to ask you to join me in remembering them and to have a moment of silence for them. Dr. Abraham Nemeth, Lev Williams, who was for a time our president in Tennessee, Dr. Adrian Ash, who during the last portion of her time was in New York, Lori Stayer, who was from New York, Jean Diane Norris, who was principal person in our Jernigan Library and the American Action Fund in California, Joe Money, who served as president of our Indiana affiliate for a time, Jim Willows of California, who served as our president there, Robert Bell of South Carolina, who served as our president there, Connie Conley from Louisiana, who was an inspiration to many, and a teacher and a nurse, and she died during the last year. I would ask those who wish to do so Barbara Pierce is Bob Eschbach. I thought we recognized him last year, but maybe not. Anyway, he was on the board and he was our president in Ohio. If you would like to, I would invite you to stand and join me in a moment of silence to remember those who went before us. Amen. Now, this is the board meeting. Consequently, we don't have any microphones in the aisles. When we get to convention sessions that are the customary sort, we will be having microphones in the aisles, and you'll be able to get at them so that you can make presentations and ask questions and the like. However, the board meeting is traditionally regarded as a session of the convention, even though there are any mics in the audience. All right, flag is stage right, I'm told. That's to my right, to your left, as you face it. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And while we're up, the Federation Pledge. I pledge to participate actively in the efforts of the National Federation of the Blind to achieve equality, opportunity, and security for the blind, to support the policies and programs of the Federation, and to abide by its Constitution. I remember the time that Dr. Jernigan said, "Do you know that pledge?" I said, "Well," he said, "Yeah, I thought so." So I went over it immediately and memorized it after that. If you would like, you may be seated. At this convention, we will be conducting an election. As you know, positions in the Federation for the Board of Directors are two-year positions. The Board of Directors consists of 5 people who are elected to office and 12 additional people who are elected to positions on the board. And each 2 years we have elections for people, but we stagger some of the elections, so there is an election every year. This year, the positions that are up for election are the presidential position. I hold that one. I am from Maryland, Mark Maurer, and Fred Schroeder is first vice president. He's from Virginia. Ron Brown is second vice president. He is from Indiana. Jim Gashel holds the position of secretary. He's from Colorado. Pam Ellen is the treasurer. She's from Louisiana. The board member positions that are up for election this year are currently held by Amy Burrish of Nebraska, Patty Chang of Illinois, Michael Freeman of Washington, John Fritz of Wisconsin, Carl Jacobson of New York, and Elpidio Rolon of Puerto Rico. Then there are people who are on the board who are not up for election this year. They are Parnell Diggs of South Carolina, Sam Gleese of Mississippi, Everly Hairston of California, Kathy Jackson of Kentucky, Jeannie Massey of Oklahoma, and Joe Ruffalo of New Jersey. Now, I have announced earlier this year, last year late, to the Board of Directors that I was not contemplating running for president this time. And I appreciate the fact that I've had the opportunity to run for president, and I have been elected to the position for 14 different times, and that means I've served now for 28 years. I think it has been great honor to serve on the board, and I appreciate the fact that I've been on it as long as I have, and I also appreciate very much the support that you have given to me. But I'm not going to be running this time, so that position will be open. There will be a nominating committee meeting tomorrow, and the nominating committee will determine, at least from the committee's point of view, who will be nominated. I did indicate that I thought a good choice would be Mark Riccobono, and that's to give welcoming remarks to this convention at this meeting of the board. Here is the President, Dan Hicks.
Good morning, fellow Federationists. Orange, you're glad to be here, or something like that. I don't remember what we used to say. I want you all to know that here in Florida, you have certain legal rights. You have the right to an attorney, and heaven knows we have enough of those here. You have the right to remain silent, though few of us will. And you have the right to bear arms and legs and torsos and just about every other body part on our beaches. But they're very crowded right now, so you're really better off in here. In Florida, we have a special right. We have a right to party. Yay! And we know a lot of work work gets done at our conventions. We do a lot of work to put these conventions on. But we still think of them as a multi-day long party. And we want you to enjoy this convention and always remember it. And we're going to have a song. Many of you have seen, well, if you haven't seen the film Despicable Me 2, you've at least heard the song called Happy by Cheryl. Who's familiar with that song? All right, I'll play a little bit of it here. Clap along if you want the convention to raise the roof. That's the first line. Second line, clap along if you feel the Federation is the truth. Clap along if you know what NFB means to you. And the fourth line, clap along if you want to live the life you choose. Say them along with me before we sing them, okay? All right. Clap along if you want the convention to raise the roof. Clap along if you feel the Federation is the truth. Clap along if you know what NFB means to you. Clap along if you want to live the life you choose, okay? Everybody got it? Some of you may not want to sing those words. You can sing the part that goes, the happy part. You know, that goes, I'm so happy, okay? So you can do that. We need some of those. I need everybody to clap, okay? So you ready to try this? All right. Ready, set, go. Let's start clapping. Okay. Hey, you're very good. All right. Let's try it. Because I'm happy. Because I'm happy, clap along if you want the convention to raise the roof. Clap along if you clap along if you know what NFB means to you. Clap along if you want to live the life you choose. All right, okay. Dr. Mary, back to you. I think we're ready to take this show on the road. Thank you all. Enjoy the convention.
All right, and the New York suite is 1656. If you want to go up there and visit with the, I said the New York suite. I meant the Florida suite. Pardon me, New York. Pardon me, Florida. I meant that it was the Florida suite of 1656, and you know, you'll find Floridians there. Occasionally there'll be a New Yorker there. You can ask around. Thank you, Dan. I have top 10 figures, and I can tell you why I was thinking New York. Number 10 with 69 is New York. Number 9 with 75 is Texas. Number 8 with 80 people present, South Carolina. Number 7 with 83, Minnesota. Number 6 with 90 people, Arizona. Number 5 with 94, California. Number 4 with 115, Louisiana. Number 3 with 128, Colorado. Number 2 with 133, Florida. Little weak, Florida. Number 1 with 218, Maryland. Closing figures as 17 countries outside of the United States represented. Total registration, 2,101. Now, I have here a resolution which was adopted by the Board of Directors in a previous board meeting. This resolution says, be it resolved by the Board of Directors of the National Federation of the Blind in meeting assembled this 27th day of January 2014 that the Constitution of the National Federation of the Blind shall be amended as follows. A sentence shall be added at the end of Article 4, Section C, which reads, biennially, during even-numbered years, at the first meeting of the Board of Directors following the convention at which officers and board members are elected, the Board of Directors shall select a chairperson from among its members who shall not be the same person as the president and who shall serve without compensation. Adopted by the Board of Directors in meeting assembled January 27, 2014. Our Constitution requires that amendments that are going to be proposed shall be presented at a session of the convention, this is one, shall be considered by a subsequent session of the convention. It will be presented later at the convention. This amendment is intended to create a position amongst the leaders of the Federation, and that position shall be the position of chairperson of the board. There is a thought that corporate governance should create two positions, one president and one chairperson of the board, and that the chairperson of the board provides an additional safeguard as the chairperson of the board has the task of assisting with supervision of board activities and giving some information and being a person to advise and give some assistance to the president in the presidential duties. This has been presented to the board and has been adopted by the board in the past. There is no requirement today for board action, but I present it to you because it will be presented later as a proposed constitutional amendment. Constitutional amendments are expected, requested, and required to be presented to the president as well as to the convention before adoption. This one has been presented to me in that capacity, and consequently it is now in order for consideration on the floor of the convention. Sometimes we call it National Federation of the Blind, sometimes we call it NFB, sometimes we call it Federation, and if we want to have people understand it, we should use it always in the same way, and consequently we created a logo because our logo used to say NFB, and some of us noticed that this was one of the many forms of our name, and so we changed the logo to have National Federation of the Blind in it, and in the process we made it a somewhat more dynamic logo. Mark Riccobono has been primarily responsible for managing this part of our effort, and I want to call upon him to give us some word about branding and the logo. Here's Mark Riccobono. Dr. Schroeder is serving to my right, and he's taking messages. And I have a few here which belong to Mark Riccobono hasn't made yet. Come to the information desk or even receive an agenda in Spanish. We have Spanish agendas this year. Print and braille versions are available from the information desk. This message comes from the information desk. The information desk also serves as lost and found. So if you've lost something and you hope somebody found it and turned it in, go to the information desk and see if it happened. We have a portrait studio at the convention, which will be open today from 11 a.m. until 3, please come to get your picture taken. We need your picture. We put them in the monitor. We also use them for some of the important messages that we put together in print. Please come get your picture taken. We're collecting pictures from everybody. Mark Riccolo?
Yes, sir. Good morning, fellow Federationists. Are we happy or what? The National Federation of the Blind knows that blindness is not the characteristic that defines you or your future. Every day we raise expectations of blind people because low expectations create obstacles between blind people and our dreams. You can live the life you want. Blindness does not have to hold you back. A year ago, this board initiated a process to look at the brand of the National Federation of the Blind. Not because our brand was bad or because we didn't have things right, but the board decided that we needed to look forward to make sure that we were reflecting the brand going forward, the brand that we wanted to have. And you should think about brand as really being the reputation that we want our organization to have to the public and as well amongst ourselves. And so after extensive research and talking with Federation leaders in a number of meetings, we streamlined our understanding of what the Federation brand is. And with our consultants, we created a brand architecture. And that's really the touch point where we all agree on what the brand of the National Federation of the Blind is, what we want our reputation to be. And now our next task is to activate on that brand. In the process, as Dr. Maurer has already indicated, we looked at the NFB logo and decided that the NFB logo was not consistent with the brand we wanted to have. And some people said, oh, but what about Who's It? Well, Who's It's still a federationist. He hasn't been expelled. But like all good things in the Federation, we evolve and continue to grow in our organization. And so we have built a new logo that is stronger, is a stronger reflection of our organization, our brand characteristics, and values. Our logo has 3 elements. You can think of the very basic element of our logo as an icon. And the icon you can think of as an evolution of Who's It in some ways. The icon is forward-facing. It conveys creativity, freedom, and warmth.